now, and I'm not going to take out a loan, but I'm definitely not going to buy equipment that I don't need right this minute. So, you start the game, it's August, you've got a few fields that are harvest ready. Frankly, excuse me while I think about what I'm doing here. I need a harvester, because those fields need to be harvested. I can either lease the harvester or I can buy a new one. But either way, I need a harvester to get going. But once we've got the harvester, I don't need the biggest harvester. I just need one I can harvest the 3 fields that are ready to harvest. And obviously, I also need a grain cart. Now, typically, while I might say you can get away with leasing a harvester and a header, and maybe get a smaller one, just because it's going to save you money. It's going to make you money because you need the harvester in order to pull the grain off the field. So I need it to make money, so I'm going to buy or lease one. But if I get a small one, I'm not going to spend much on it right now, and I'm going to make far more cash from selling all the grains. I'm going to need a grain cart, but I'm going to need a grain cart all of the time, so it's probably worth me buying one of those, because I need it during harvest, I might need it during selling time, so I'm going to pull stuff off the field and stick it in my grain silo, then I'm going to wait till the best time to sell it, and I'm then going to need it again. So I don't really want to be leasing it every couple of months. I'm probably going to buy it. Plus, they're not very expensive. I'm going to need a tractor. So I'm going to try and buy the best all-round tractor I can afford, because it's going to be my tractor for a few, at least for the inception of the farm. Once the farm's up and running, I can think about, okay, I can sell the tractor. I can get other things. I think we are going to leave this on this pitch of grass over here. Okay. So, grain cart is, like I said, it's only 60% full. And actually we can get out, drive through the farm, or drive the same way, and get down to the place where the grain mill. Okay, am I going to make this turn? Thinking, actually, yes. Wow. Okay, that was a bit of a surprise. So yeah, but then once your farm's up and running, you can think about what you need to expand. It's taking, if it's not taking you too long to harvest all of your fields, you can do it comfortably in a day. You don't need something that's really big. You look at the harvester we have at the moment. We have the biggest harvester, or one of the 2-3 biggest harvesters in the game. Do I need it? No. Is it convenient? Well, it takes me a lot longer to fill it up, so I can keep the harvester running for longer. The header we have is medium-sized header. I think it's a 7-meter header rather than whatever. Go and look at headers. I mean, your 40-foot header is 12 meters. Our header is 7.2. It's a 41-foot header. So 12 meter, 7.2. So tiny in comparison. But I'm not too worried, because we got the entirety of actually a contract barley field, a contract barley field, our 2 barley fields, and our oat field done in one day at 3 times speed. So I'm not too worried about getting a bigger header. Bigger header would be a pain in the butt because I would lose some of the crop just trying to manhandle it into the field so I can attach the harvester to it. So yeah. Now obviously at some point, if we keep expanding the farm, I am going to reach a point where I can't do all of the harvesting in 1 month, or in the month or day that I want to do it in. When we hit that point, I will probably buy another header and another harvester rather than getting a bigger header. But you know, the whole idea is there. You can either go bigger or you can go multiple. Now obviously if you can't use coarse play because you're on a console, going multiple might be a little bit of a problem for you. We have coarse play so we can set up the run and just let the harvester go, and we can take a harvester to another field and repeat the process, and we could end up with multiple harvesters on the farm. And it's justified because if we didn't have that many, I would not be able to get all the crops in before they wither, as the potential. So but you don't buy big until you need it. I still think there is an argument to be made that having a 200 horsepower or 225 or 250 200 to 250 horsepower starting tractor is probably going to be useful, because you can buy bigger equipment and not have to worry about, can my tractor handle that? However, once you are, if you're starting with something less than 150 horsepower, you're kind of limited to 3-meter equipment, which means that if you don't have time to plant all your fields with 3-meter equipment, you either need another tractor and another piece of equipment, identical piece of equipment, or you need bigger equipment. And at that point, to get bigger equipment, you have to spend a lot of money getting a bigger tractor. Okay, we're putting oats in, so we can activate the oat facilities. Do that, that's all done. Go back in the tractor. Oops. So yeah, I mean, this tractor is huge. It's not actually a very high horsepower, but it is huge, which means it's ideally set up for ploughing, and although I don't have a plough for it yet, I don't have a cultivator for it either. All we've really got is the big planter and the big seeder, and part of the justification there is our planting and seeding seasons are very wet and very dark. So if I want to plant all of my barley in one day, it might be a challenge, or in 1 month, it might be a challenge given the weather and when the sun rises and sets, being able to see what I'm doing. So having bigger equipment means that I can get a field done very, very quickly. And I need this size of tractor to do it. I could do with another tractor this size, and if I did that, I could buy a cultivator that is bigger, and I could buy a plough that is bigger. And we could plough and cultivate fields in a shorter time as well. And we did that on Lawfolds in Farm Sim 17 and on Oakfield Farm in Farm Sim 19. I was running around with, did I miss my turn off? Oh heck, yes I did. I could have one of the big tractors going out with a plough, another one going out with a cultivator, and once a field was ready to, once I'd done all the ploughing I needed to do, I could use that to seed all of the cereal crops. And once the guy running the cultivator was done, I could go out with the planter and plant all of the soybeans, sugar beets, corn, anything else that I wanted. And they were big pieces of equipment, but I had two big tractors, so I was never really tied down with when I could do a thing. Typically both were used for carting as well, so I could cart off the grain in a big trailer like we're doing here with this setup. And as soon as the field were, as soon as one field had been harvested, I could be out there in the other big tractor, either ploughing it or cultivating it, in order to move things along at a good pace. And by the time we'd finished harvesting, the cultivating tractor was halfway through its work. I could theoretically go out with the other big tractor that now doesn't need to cart things around and hitch a planter to the back of it and go planting stuff. But when you're starting out, you only need one tractor, and so long as there is enough time in the day to get the work done, you don't have to get something bigger. It's just nice to have. Okay, that's done. Next tractor. You're done. Should have come to you earlier, but I'll turn that on, we'll unfold that. And I will go mulch the corners, which it's missed. The thing is, much as I like having a 150 horsepower tractor on the farm because it can get in small places and do stuff, this particular farm, not really a good thing. I mean, even on law folds, I used to run the a Massey 5S or equivalent 5 Series, and it would do all of the spraying, and I'd have a front tank and a tank on the back. Very, very good for doing all of that. Plus, on law folds, all of the fields were fairly close to the farm, so it wasn't such a big deal to run back to the farm and refill the fertilizer tanks. But on Oatfield Farm, it got very, very inconvenient to have to run all over the place. And I would spend more time driving between fields than I would spraying the fields sometimes. So at that point, I need something bigger because what I have is not going to cover the whole field in one application. I think one of the other maps I didn't run a series on. I just played on Chellington one time, and I wasn't as fastidious about making sure all the fields I bought were close to the farm, and the result was that I would be out, and I wasn't playing seasons on there either, So base game, if you don't have seasons, the way to make money is to turn over the fields as fast as you can. So basically I was out with a harvester, a tractor with a grain cart, a tractor with a plough, a tractor with a cultivator, a tractor with a seeder, and a couple of auger wagons and a tanker. The tanker had spare diesel. The auger wagons were carrying seed and solid fertilizer. And I would basically start a convoy off from the farm and drive all the way around the perimeter of the map, harvesting each of my fields as I came to them. The grain cart would be running from the field back to the storage point, and everything else was just sat on the edge of the field. Oh, the seeder's run out of seed, right? Fill up the seeder from the auger wagon. Oh, the fertilizer spreader's run out. Actually, I think it was probably the seeder's run out of fertilizer. Fill it up from the auger wagon. Oh, the lime cart has run out of lime. Fill it up from an auger wagon. And it was just a massive convoy that I did everything I needed to in every single field, and then we moved on to the next field. Okay, set up a course on this one. I will go exactly the same. Let's go longest edge. Back, cancel, back, and go. But that was very late in the life of the farm, when I can afford to have 5 tractors, 2 trucks, a harvester, and all the equipment. That's the New Holland, that's the truck, let's go round. It's the baler. I don't need that page on. And that looks like it's worked just about right. I think this is the first time I've done baling in a while. So normally I'll just set this off on a worker and it can do its thing. And the sun is setting, so what is the time? 7:30. Might not get all of the baling done today. The mulcher has got 10 minutes, it's about 30 minutes of game time, so should be done by 8 o'clock, mulching the other field. Then if we get all this done today, there's the rest of July. There's only about 4 contracts to do though, so there's not a lot of harvesting at this time. Not too worried about that, but it's an opportunity to make some money, and we are waiting for the value of the fields to come down so we can actually buy some of them. Still got these one to prepare. Obviously once we've done the mulching, I'll take a look at the lime or the pH levels of the fields. If the pH is a little bit meh, we'll work on it. Obviously this one definitely needs a look at, but the next one not necessarily quite so much, or the other two may not be as bad a state. However, my philosophy is if I can get the lime done right away, we won't have to apply much of it, so I can do it all in one circuit, one lap, rather than keep having to go back to the farm. We don't have to do it every year, and if I leave it to every third year, which is what theoretically you can get away with leaving it for, when you do lime a field, you're probably going to have to make multiple trips out to that field to get the lime work done. So I think it's just easier to make sure that you do it as efficiently as possible, and it's no big shakes to. Where's the view? There's the view. It's not a big problem. Just getting out there and liming every year. It's not like we don't have enough time to do that. And like I said, this is first day in July. We've got 3 more days in July. If I wanted to plant canola, I would want the field, any field that has canola in it, or I plan to put canola into, should be ready to plant by August 1, because then that gives me any one of 4 days I can run out there and harvest, and plant the canola. Also notice we have a rain warning again. Oh, if I remember rightly, July 2 and July 3 are all rain days. So yes, that is going to be a little bit of an issue for us. There will be rain tomorrow, so anything I don't get done today might not get done tomorrow either. And because it's going to, because there's going to be rain on the 3rd day, might not be able to get done the day after either, which leaves us 1 day only to get the work done. So even with the huge giant equipment, it's not necessarily going to get done when I need it to be done. So anyway, that's probably enough of the theories of farming and when to buy your equipment and how to buy your equipment, how much equipment you need. Other computer games. I know I own Exogate, which is sort of like Stargate, the computer game without having to pay a license fee to MGM or Amazon or whoever it is who owns it now. It's kind of a fun game. That got patched a couple of weeks ago. I think it's in early access. So not all of the planned stuff is in it, like diplomats and things like that, but it is slowly getting improved. Railroader received another patch, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where they changed all the sounds. So trains now sound like trains rather than they just go chuff, 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 and over 11 miles an hour they go chuff, chuff, chuff faster. Now they actually sound like, the sound is commensurate with the speed of the locomotive. So there's no sound jump. It's a smooth transition as the train goes faster. And some additional business stuff. I think they gave us a teleport point for the switch at Bryson. CTC, was it? CTC something. I don't think it's computerized train control, but it's the ability to control a train from a central location. So you have a switch manager who decides which line is clear, and the trains will then follow what switches you set from a central location, rather than having to ride with a train and, oh, that one's not set right, I have to get out and reset the switches for this. Okay, big tractor. I am going to be doing alternate rows as we ride around here. Come on. Can't think of much else. So obviously Farm Sim had a patch when they released the Productions not DLC. I think it's a third party DLC, so it's not something Giants created, but it is something that Giants endorses, as opposed to mods which Giants facilitate, but there's no implied this mod will work with all the other mods.